What's up, people? Back with another video. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna get straight to it, bro. We visiting Tommy G today, man. We finna see what Tommy G got going on, bro. This nigga talk about some ghost guns. The fuck is that, Tommy? The fuck is that, gang? That bitch is nice.
I think access to the firearm is a fundamental human dignity. It's a fundamental human right.
30-year-old Cody Wilson is a self-described gun rights advocate and crypto-anarchist, which means he believes in decentralization of information. He's also been labeled one of the most dangerous people in the world.
How many times have you been sued in this business?
I can't count. I literally can't count. Half the states in this country who sued me, this so-called free country.
What got you into 3D printing guns?
When I got my cease and desist from the ATF.
If ATF kicked in your door and they found this, what kind of time would you be looking at, you think?
I don't even know.
You think double digits?
Probably, yeah.
How do you walk the line between freedom?
Duh, Tommy. Duh, this feds, nigga. That nigga going under the motherfucking jail. If you know, you know.
And danger.
It is a line, and we stay within a conscious vocabulary because in American libertarian politics and political life, the gun is an important thing. I'm on your side if you like the Second Amendment. It's more important for me to convey that than some deeper feeling about these things.
Ghost guns, untraceable weapons, a threat to the system. And thanks to advancements in 3D printing, the power to create a gun has been democratized to anyone with a couple $1,000.
Bro, that shit still crazy to me. Like when 3D printing came out, I was like, the fuck is that shit, bro? I was like, man, what the fuck? Now they just be 3D printing every fucking thing, bro. Every fucking thing.
Now, is this a Second Amendment right that the Founding Fathers outlined for us in the Constitution, or is this a dangerous public safety nightmare that needs to be heavily regulated or altogether outlawed? Today, we take a deep dive into this world. We sit down with Cody Wilson, a controversial figure who invented and printed the first 3D gun, and he currently runs the biggest ghost gun company in the United States. We speak with Michael Cargill, a gun rights activist who took on the ATF all the way to the Supreme Court and won. And finally, we go underground to interview a 3D gun printer running a highly illegal ghost gun enterprise. But before we start, first a quick disclaimer and a message from our sponsor.
Big ideas don't come easy.
This video is for documentary purposes only and should not be viewed as a guide for manufacturing weapons. Please consult and adhere to all applicable laws regarding firearm ownership in your area. Thank you. And now for the sponsor of
Gentlemen,
Tommy G.
Cody, good to meet you, brother.
Good morning. Nice to meet you.
Tommy be tweaking, boy. That nigga be everywhere, boy. That nigga ain't got no fear. Shit. Ain't no fucking way you around that shit, man.
We're in the headquarters right now.
This is DDHQ.
I traveled to Austin, Texas to meet a man who back in 2012 was named one of the most dangerous people in the world by Wired magazine. Why was this? Because he issued a dangerous promise that he would create the technology to print a lethal firearm from home and give that design out for free. And in 2013, he did just that when he released the design for a printed gun called the Liberator. The federal government did not like that one bit.
Today, the judge ordered Cody Wilson and his company, Defense Distributed, to remove the blueprints from the internet.
Now, the federal government immediately declared war on him, threatening him with years in prison and millions in fines. So what did he do? He fought back, and he sued the United
Only because he making money off of it. They don't want nothing. They can't fucking tax. You know what I'm saying? That shit crazy, bro. Like, nigga can't even come up with some shit and make the world great again. You feel me? They won't fuck shit up.
States government and won.
Get it? Make the world great again. That shit is dumb. Don't do that shit, y'all. Fuck that.
Folks, this is Cody Wilson, the godfather of the ghost gun.
Okay.
These guys are pretending to work.
Just more so eating donuts than really working?
That's right, and I'm pretending to manage their pretend work.
And I'm pretending to be a documentary film crew, so I feel like we're
Yes,
meshing
yes,
perfectly.
exactly. I'm pretending to be documented. So welcome to DDHQ, man.
Thanks for having us.
It's a mix of hobby and commercial product, right? So we got to do a little bit of customer service. We got to do a little product R&D because some people don't want the service. They want to go off on their own and do it. And it's a mix of 3D printing, CNC milling, and then what we call 80% receivers, which have been very popular in the last couple of years. These things are made here, they're serviced here, they're developed and tested here.
What does that flag represent?
This is a Texan flag, all right? This is called the Goliad flag, or sometimes called Philip Dimmitt's bloody arm flag, but it flew at La Bahia, at the beginning of the Texan Revolution. I come from the American libertarian tradition, which is older than just America. It's an Anglo-American tradition. I come from that. I'm one of its logical consequences. And so in some respects, I'm just a shit lib living in America.
When you really came onto the scene about 7 years ago, there was a lot of media about you. What has changed in your ideology or your mission in the last 7 years?
I've become more cynical, but I've also become more practical. And whereas I might have been an idealist in both like a normal sense and as a philosopher, now I'm a realist. I believe that guns are real objects. And I believe that just because they're real objects, that doesn't mean we can understand them. And what we've demonstrated in this company alone has been that the more the law tries to attach to or understand these real objects, the more invisible and withdrawn they become from us.
Like, I was just thinking on the drive here, what would our founding fathers think if they saw what is happening in our government right now, where so many of our politicians are bought, so many of our politicians are motivated by greed, so many of our politicians are making laws that make it harder for the business owners, the working class people to thrive in this country. They would have stuck a musket up Pelosi's ass, all these people that are insider trading, all these people that are passing the laws, they would have put them out in the street. When you take a pulse of where the American people are right now and their potential for revolution, how would you grade the situation, the climate?
A nullity. It's a zero. It's dead. I mean, the American people, let's say of the Revolutionary period, were a violent people. They were an interesting, bloody, vulgar people. And we want to think about them in romantic terms and think of that they were noble. And of course there's nobility in their violence, but fundamentally they were an aggressive, violent people.
How many times have you been sued in this business?
I can't count. I can't count. Half the states in this country have sued me, this so-called free country. What you begin to see behind the curtain very quickly, not too far, is that you have what is nominally permitted, what is said to be allowed in this country, and what is actually permitted. A lot of what we build here, a lot of what you're seeing, is the assembly of a certain kind of piece of equipment, okay? Because what we like to make for the user at home is a capacity to finish some of these gun parts.
You give them the bones and the skeleton, but they breathe the life into the gun.
That's very good. Sometimes they have to add a little to the skeleton, or let's say take a few things away because, you know, the diamond is in the rough, right? They got to move some of that rough around, and that's what this equipment is.
One of the things Defense Distributed makes is a milling machine called the Ghost Gunner. Think of it as a 3D printer but in reverse. Instead of adding plastic layer by layer, this machine uses a spinning cutter to carve away metal. It takes a raw block of aluminum and precisely mills it down to the intended firearm component, giving the owner of this printer the freedom to create gun parts as they please. This is Jay Oma. He's a notorious Texas lawyer known for getting absolute super threats off with little to no jail time. He comments on what he's seen in Texas representing murder cases.
I done heard of this nigga, boy. That's that motherfucker right there, boy. You gotta have that money. I'm talking about that M's. The fuck with him. You hear me?
And his overall understanding of the legality of ghost guns.
If I were to buy a weapon right now at a local gun store, it has to be registered. If I buy a gun, it's probably been shot already, and each time a gun is shot, it leaves a fingerprint or like an imprint on the shell casings, and that shell casing will be connected to that gun. So anytime that shell casing or a similar shell casing is found in any type of criminal case, they're going to link it to that gun, right? So where ghost guns come in handy is that it doesn't really register at all. So it just prevents the police from investigating that portion of where they're linking that shell casing to a specific gun.
To dive into this 3D gun printing world, we're now going to meet with a guy that does it on a very small scale and ask him questions about what he does, but it's very sketchy, the area that he's in. There's a lot of federal pressure right now, and so we are parking our car in an undisclosed location in the United States, and he's gonna come pick us up without a cell phone in his car and take us to a site where we'll see the 3D printing of the guns. It just makes me think that there's kind of this two-tiered system in this country. And I get both sides, but if you're a massive weapons manufacturer with a publicly traded stock, you can do this in broad daylight and make billions of dollars doing it, but a little mom and pop shop doing it and believing the same Second Amendment that the major manufacturer believes in, has to hide under the fear that they might get arrested by the ATF or some three-letter agency. What are you in the business of?
I build guns, occasionally sell them.
So you customize guns mostly in the 3D printing space?
Yeah. I started out doing the P80s, but then once that whole craze with that's when I got into 3D printing. And also like stocked up on them.
What got you into 3D printing guns?
When I got my cease and desist from the ATF.
That's when you started printing guns?
Yeah, out of just pure like passion for guns.
And what do they ask you to cease and desist from?
So basically, if I buy firearms, they're allowed to come in my house anytime, unannounced, and check that I still have it.
And are you able to say vaguely why that is?
It ended up in the wrong hands, getting across the border.
And did it end in a casualty?
It did, yeah.
Okay, so this thing looks already to be like a substantial piece, and I'd flip that around.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm a gun expert, by the way, guys.
All right, this is an unfinished receiver. The big guys for the military, just like the little guys,
Every typical, I ain't gonna even say it.
traffic in this same object, but it's an unregulated object. Even though it looks like it's already well on its way to being something serious or something legal or regulated, it is not.
When you say the military guys traffic this stuff, what do you mean?
There's an economy of objects like this, both an above ground and an underground economy. This economy happens because the main large-scale prime contractor manufacturers, they need unfinished goods just like the rest of us. That's modern capitalism. So they might go to Eastern Europe or they might go to Taiwan and they would say, hey, you can contract manufacture this for me, import it into the United States, and you can do all this work to it, and it's still not a gun and it's still not really seen by the law yet until I, the manufacturer, touch it. And that keeps things cheap, but it also is like the thing that keeps this entire underground economy going, because these objects already existed, always existed outside the law, and now the at-home user wants them as much as the prime contract manufacturers.
Talk to me about some of your favorite 3D printed guns on the table.
So this one I actually just did last night, and
So the whole thing is 3D printed?
yeah, so that whole lower is 3D printed.
That's
Just
crazy.
Put together the parts kit.
So you have to add the metal in yourself?
Yeah, and then you have to get when you're 3D printing, you gotta get the tolerances just right.
And a machine like that takes a whole day to do just this?
Yeah, there are faster ones, but that machine is meant more for stronger materials, so it does take a bit longer.
Do you want to see a ghost gun?
Yeah. Do y'all see this? See how beautiful this is and very customizable? I like it. So you're just missing the top part, right?
Yeah.
But this right here looks just like how mine would look like on the inside. What I see is like threat financially to the gun manufacturers, saying there's no way we can make money off of these people anymore.
Folks, for context,
That's exactly what the fuck I just said. Did I not, twin? Like, do your homework. Like, for real, I did just say that. I mean, it's common sense. It don't take science. People, like, come on now.
We are currently in the middle of a golden age for weapons manufacturers. In 2024, companies like Raytheon logged record-breaking profits, with their stock price seeming to match the upward trend of deaths in Gaza. And it begs the question, why is the law so swift to crush an individual for creating a ghost gun in his garage, yet silent when there are arguably companies contributing to war crimes in places like Israel? And some say it feels like a two-tier justice system, where the individual gets a prison sentence while the corporate interests make annual profits in the billions.
I look at ghost guns in a very similar way that I look at magic mushrooms, which is part of me thinks everyone should have the right and access to use those things as they wish as a free American. But the other part of me is aware that these things are sacred and dangerous and have a lot of power, and you should be careful. So how do you walk the line between freedom and danger?
It is a line, and we stay within a conscious vocabulary because in American libertarian politics and political life, the gun is an important thing. It's a revered thing. There's a certain American civic religion about the firearm, and we try to honor that and keep that language so that people understand that we're friendlies. I'm on your side if you like the Second Amendment. I'm on your side, right? It's more important for me to convey that than some deeper feeling about these things. The gun is some kind of centerpiece of a psychodrama, of a legal drama, of the evolution of the change of our state, world states, the role of the individual in society. Everything is at stake with these things. And I see California, states that would nominally be free or nominally have some of this conversation with you, attempting things that I would not believe to be possible just 5 years ago. It's breathtaking to me, and it feels like a civil war to me.
Walk us through what we're looking at right here.
Yeah, all right, fine. This is the G80 system.
What he's referring to, the G80, is the nickname of a Glock-compatible 80% frame. And they say 80% because it's an unfinished piece of high-strength plastic that looks like a grip but isn't legally a firearm yet. To make it functional, you simply have to cut away the blocking material, drill the pinholes, and add the trigger group, firing pin, and slide. And this is the innovation that Cody wants the masses to have access to 3D print.
This is the brand new thing we're doing, which combines all the techniques and learning and everything we've synthesized over the past few years, okay? So it's a little bit of printing, it's a little bit of milling, right? You print this part at home, you mill this part at home, or finish it by hand with some fixtures.
This is where both of your systems kind of intermesh.
That's right, because the law moved, all right? The law said a part like this looks too much like a gun. So now no one can sell you something like this to finish, all right? So you have to take this thing and remove it from the legal context. This has to become information. Now the gun part has to become this strange, unidentifiable, not clearly convertible component. Does this look like anything to you necessarily, you know? If you saw this like in a fucking trash can, would you be like, oh, I found a firearm? It becomes more illegible, and that's our task. Our task is to always create more and more ambiguous objects and products.
So this could be done way more simply, but in order to go within the rule of the law, you have to keep making it more and more obscure.
Yes, because the law chases this object.
To a person that has never heard of the G80, just give us a breakdown.
The G80 is the next system in unfinished 80% firearms, okay? The law says, well, all we know, this is the Supreme Court of the United States, and its supreme legislation says, well, all we know is it needs to take longer than an hour to make, and it probably shouldn't look like a gun when you start. Thank you, Supreme Court. Okay, well, we follow the supreme guidance of the Supreme Court, and we say it takes longer than an hour to make, it doesn't look like a gun, your grandma wouldn't necessarily know what it is, therefore it complies. And of course, California, Gavin Newsom, President Newsom, will crush the shit out of us when we're a successful company. And the next company will come in and say, well, this is the tweak that we've made. And that's what you can look forward to in developing guns in this country.
Just as a switch carries a high penalty, I believe in many places it's 10 years. Does a ghost gun carry a similar enhanced penalty?
I haven't seen enhanced penalties. In my experience, I have not, because a firearm is still a firearm, as long as you can prove that this is an object that can kill people. So if I was a prosecutor, right? Switch it around. If I was a prosecutor and I'm going to argue that this defendant right here, this one right here, he killed somebody. Not only did he kill somebody with a gun, he killed somebody with a gun that was unregistered. This means this individual right here is trying to hide and mark his tracks. He needs to burn in prison. In fact, I'm going to ask you, the jury, to not only convict him, but to get the death penalty, because this exceeds just 99 years. He needs to pay. And people who commit crimes and wants to destroy the community and hide the killings that they do, they need to die. And in the state of Texas, we have the death penalty.
EVE Online on Mac immerses you in a universe with...
How much does the machine cost? How much does it cost to make this in materials, and what can you sell it for?
So that machine, at the time, it cost about $1,400, but I got it for about $900.
How much can you sell this for?
This completed, probably anywhere from $750 to $900.
And what kind of person is buying this?
Someone that's gonna throw it away.
Creating it is a hobbyist thing, but selling them, the guy that's buying it, usually has a particular reason.
You can kind of get the idea in a scene.
And how do you feel about that?
I don't really. Does that make sense?
On the website of Cody's company, for free, they have dozens of files that can be downloaded and 3D printed into various gun components. And because it's on the internet, that means that it could be printed by a well-meaning, law-abiding hobbyist gun owner, but it also means that guys like Jay in his garage can build a weapon to sell to a guy planning a murder. And that, in a nutshell, is the crux of the controversy surrounding Cody's mission.
Okay, so this is interesting. So this is total downloads of just the digital product you guys have.
For the month, yeah.
For the month?
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, we run the biggest file sharing site in the world on Gunz.
And
yeah.
Of these almost 300,000 downloads, how many of them you think come to fruition with a real operable firearm?
Very few. And this map you're seeing here has gone one step further, and it says the files for these things cannot be left to be downloaded unrestricted to California or to people in Washington.
So is your site blocked in California?
Yes.
Similar to how Pornhub is blocked in Texas.
It's the same thing. People in the last few years have seen, well, what the gotta use an ID to use a porn site? It's the same thing now with other forms of information, not just porn. Now gun files are going to be restricted in different states in different ways on the internet. The internet itself is breaking up.
Your company was among the first to have a particular digital download, or the antecedent of what today is the Ghost Gun download. I don't know if I'm hitting that right, but can you...
No, it's interesting to see how you were talking about it, yeah. Yeah. And actually that's really smart because how it was talked about in 2013 was this is the first 3D printed gun. Well, what was the real innovation? I think it was the first 3D file for a 3D printable gun. It was the first gun you could go download. It was the first gun you could think of, hey, where do I get that gun? Oh yeah, I go online to get that gun. I'm gonna pull this out for you. This is actually the first 3D printed gun. This doesn't get a lot of love these days, but it's the Liberator. We named that gun that way to give it a big brand name, sure. To also give it a little historical echo, to give it a personality, because it conveyed that the guns of this future, of a 3D printable future, are guns with personality, are guns with meaning, with destiny. They're not just commercial products in the age of mechanical reproduction. Now they're strange spiritual products in the age of digital reproduction. You know, the guns are liquid information. That was the point of that message, the point of that exercise, and to also confuse the object in the Second Amendment with speech objects, speech actions in the First Amendment, to blend that First and Second Amendment, and to say something to government, hey, regulate this.
Folks, here's a quick refresher on American history. The Second Amendment doesn't just say you can own a gun, it protects the right of people to keep and bear arms, stating clearly that this right shall not be infringed upon by the government. And these are the lines Cody uses to defend his position. He is essentially arguing that if the government stops you from making a gun, they are infringing on your right to bear one.
This represents the kind of murderer's row of the best guns. So FGC9 is probably the best known 3D printed gun, single 3D printed gun, very popular in Europe. 9mm PCCs have evolved since 2020. You know, one of the most recent is this Decker, which is a stranger looking gun, right? But it's more true to what 3D printed guns are. So stuff, these things aren't as good as commercial guns, right? But there's something kind of amazing about the fact that you can 3D print a real magazine for real bullets. This is entirely printed with a spring. All right, this is the Urtal. This was designed by a developer in Brazil, and it's probably the most well-known recent printed PCC.
Can you show me the process for, like, from computer to hooking?
Bro, that shit crazy, bro. I'm saying, like, damn.
Up to like how this gets going?
Yeah. Basically right here is all the files.
All these are schematics?
All these ones right here with like the labels on them, that say G-code, are ones that I've already made. So for example, this file right here.
How encrypted is all this?
I keep it on an external hard drive.
So it has to be plugged into something to even show up on the computer?
Yeah.
That's smart. Are the feds that good at computer stuff like this?
Yeah, they are.
And one of the reasons they are good is because they bust guys that are hackers and then get them on their team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this right here.
Oh, I like how it says for academia only. Situation is this. There's a Scientology has hired people that stalk my home, and I want to take care of them without any issues. Allegedly. Cool.
Cool. So, go into that file.
You can make serious money streaming with Rumble Studio. Here's how. You can make...
So that's it.
This is what it would print, and do you put the rest together yourself?
Now, what if I had a computer and I had only this? Forget all the ammo, explosives, all the crazy stuff. I just had a pistol, schematic. How much in trouble would I get? Without actually making it, just having that file on my computer.
You actually wouldn't, if it was, as long as it's not, like, fully auto or anything like that.
So it's legal to have?
Yeah, it's legal to make and for yourself, but not...
So for personal use, I could make that gun no issue?
Yes.
Exactly. No problems whatsoever?
No.
And then this hooks up to, you already sent the orders to the printer, so it's already, that's why it's going?
Yes.
And what is the printer making right now?
But right now it's making a Glock 17 with a 504.
So there's no political motivation, there's no greater purpose or mission?
No, not really.
It's just kind of entertainment and fun?
Yeah, pretty much.
Is it hard getting a girlfriend if this is one of your main hobbies?
Not really.
So folks, now we've seen a little bit into a mom and pop operation, one-man show, how it looks on the ground level. Let's go back to Austin, Texas, where they're doing it on a large-scale operation and have recently had battles with the Supreme Court. You had a recent Supreme Court case, 2023. Tell me about it and what happened.
There's not much to say. You go to the Supreme Court, you lose. That's the education I've got in this country. We were doing something not legal, not technical. This was something in the realm of ideas and religion. And when we left, we knew that we had lost. On paper, there are rules and regulations about how you can make a gun in this country, how you can buy one. And the Biden people came in and said, okay, what we're gonna do is we'll take the definition of a gun and explode that to mean as many things outside of an actual gun as possible. You know, anything's a gun if you think about it. If it's marketed as becoming a gun, or if it could become a gun, or if someone buys it because they want to make it into a gun, well, therefore now, under the law, it is a gun. So they had taken the container of the word firearm and tried to pack as much into that word as possible in the law. Our position was very simple. Doesn't the law mean certain things? Don't words have legal meanings? Don't they only mean certain things? Can ATF by itself, without an act of Congress, just say these words mean new things? We say that that's not possible. We go to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court says, well, sometimes the ATF can do that.
My name is Michael Cargill. I'm the owner of Central Texas Gun Works, which is a gun store in Austin, Texas.
You had a battle with the Supreme Court. Tell us about it.
Yeah, not a lot of people can say that they went up against the United States government. They went up against the Department of Justice, the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, BATF. Both administrations, Trump administration and Biden administration, and actually won. It started, back with the Las Vegas shooting. So Las Vegas, a guy allegedly took an AR and a part, which was a bump stock, and attached it to a rifle. And he used that to shoot, faster, where he would allegedly shot some concert goers there in Las Vegas. So because of that, what happened was the government decided they were going to go through the ATF to ban the bump stock. One, how can you go through the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, an agency within the federal government, in order to do this? I said, you got to go through Congress if you want to ban something that people legally own and purchase. What I decided to do was surrender my bump stocks to the ATF when they banned them, and then 30 minutes later, we sued them in federal court. And so we go in the courtroom there, and the judge was like kind of confused. He kind of compared the bump stock to like a shotgun. He said, oh, I get it. It's like a shotgun. You pump it and then you fire it. It's like, no, that's not it. And then I said, this guy, this is a lost case. We're going to lose this case. And so we lost. He ruled against us. And we appealed again to the entire Fifth Circuit, which is heard en banc, which is heard by like 12 or 13 judges. And to me, that was the most intimidating court I've ever been in my life, where you have 13 justices sitting on the dais there, and throwing questions at your attorney left and right. What about this? What about that? Can you do this? What about machine guns? Da 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 da. And my attorney did a great job. And so we won. And not only did we win, the Fifth Circuit gave us everything. They gave us, the definition of a machine gun. They gave us the fact that the ATF, a federal agency, could not create a right law. And I was like, man, this is awesome. And so the government decided they were going to appeal that case tonight to the United States Supreme Court. It was really exciting to be in the United States Supreme Court, and we won.
What is concerning about the stories of Michael and Cody is their experience with the ATF attempting to create and enforce gun laws. Legally, a law has to go through Congress before the ATF can enforce it. For an example of this, just look at this footage of ATF agents visiting a Navy SEAL.
The reason why we're here is because I'm sure you're aware, just recently the ATF classified the FRTs, the force reset triggers, as machine guns. We are aware that you may have purchased some of these FRTs.
Okay. That's incredible.
And have to pick them up. You know, they're evil.
So I won't be answering any questions today. I don't have any comments on this subject. I won't be giving you anything.
Okay, so you
Are you refusing to give us the trigger?
I'm not refusing anything. I won't be answering any questions.
They were there to confiscate a forced reset trigger, a part that was legal when the man bought it. And it shows a disturbing trend, where a law-abiding citizen can be turned into a criminal simply because a federal agency changed its mind without a single vote in Congress.
Like, to me, there seems like a light and dark side of what you do. On one end, there's the shits and gigs.
That's fucked up. We already know how that shit go, but it just ain't fair, bro. It'll never be fair. Shit just ain't fair.
Legal side of it, where it's just little funny shit. On the other end, someone's gonna get smoked or something like this.
You're right about that, but I mean, feel the same way for any OEM gun.
So it's similar to what a gun manufacturer would say. Hey, I'm Smith & Wesson. We're doing quite well this year. What people do with them, that's their choice. That's their responsibility. I just am the creator. Just like knives, just like cars, just like anything that could be used as a weapon or a utility. It's up to the person. It's out of your hands once you make it.
Yeah, their responsibility, their choice is not something you can control. I don't actively go out and try selling them for profit.
What's the most you've made in a month doing this?
It's been more of a hobby, but it's more of the drugs that I sell that fun this kind of.
If ATF kicked in your door and they found this, all this, what kind of time would you be looking at, you think?
I don't even know.
Do you think double digits?
Probably, yeah.
See some of what he's working on though? Yeah. Like when we're kind of, after we're doing this maybe, because really so much of the heart of our operation is manipulating not even the real object, but the virtual object. Something really important happened after 2020, okay? And it's called the Bamboo Labs X1 Carbon. This thing is $1,200 and it is on the money. And you are making quality gun parts, okay? This has changed everything.
Wow, and look how dexterous it is.
So fast, and all these micro compensations, all this physical adjustments. Okay, this is high-tech stuff, and it's affordable. This is ridiculously cheap. What you're seeing are 3 different Glock frames, G80 grip modules, being printed at the same time. They'll all be done within a handful of hours. This piece evolves from already printable Glock frames. We take what's regulated about that part and remove it. And then we create something that it's no longer a frame, because frame has a legal meaning. Now it's a grip.
There's so much legal dancing you have to do.
Yes, you have to be a kind of mystic. You have to be a wizard. You have to be a nerd. You have to be a lot of things. And among other things, you have to think like a criminal. You have to break the law in your mind first to know where the right design parameters are. You know, oh, if I make it this way, the law doesn't even see it. It's invisible to the law. You know, that's the design choice. That's why it's made this way. So that the law truly is seeing ghosts, right? Looking for ghosts. That's why they call them ghost guns.
I think we need more people in America like Cody Wilson. People that are idealists, people that are almost on a religious crusade for the people, by the people, against the government. The state has gotten so overwhelmingly powerful that to have a voice that's willing to experience lawsuits across many states, or federal lawsuits, or bankruptcy, or even prison, I just admire someone's commitment to the cause. And I do feel like there's a rattling, especially amongst the younger people in this country, that we're so disenchanted, disenfranchised, that we are being energized into movement against the state. And I, as a proud American, appreciate that. Second Amendment, big thing in America. Do you believe that you should have the right to make your own guns at will?
Yes, I do believe that.
Can you speak about your overall philosophy about guns, about the Second Amendment, about the American right?
The reason I got into this business in the first place is because I wanted to make sure that everyone in my family had the tools needed to protect themselves. I wanted to make sure they had a gun. I wanted to make sure my family were proficient with firearms. You know, I wanted to make sure they knew what the law was and how to react when stopped by law enforcement. So that's why, you know, I got into the gun industry. And so my grandmother at 70 years old decided she was gonna, you know, go back to college and get a college degree at 70. And so she went back to college because she wanted to become a nurse. While my grandmother was traveling from a library, sitting at a bus stop waiting for a bus to come, a guy came along, mugged her, and raped her. So because of that, I decided I wanted to make sure that everyone in my family, including the females in my family, had the tools they needed to protect themselves. I wanted them to get a gun, I wanted them to know what the law was, and I wanted them to be able to defend themselves and send those little bastards up the escalator to Jesus. So that's why I started selling guns. I teach the classes because, you know, I wanted to make sure my family knew what their rights.
So this is a ghost gun.
The frame is no longer a frame, legally speaking. It's no longer the firearm. This component is 3D printed, and the frame lives tucked within the gun. You can't tell it, but it emerges in parts. The gun hides within the presence of a gun. What you see is not the gun, it's what's inside, and that makes all the difference in the law. This is the G80. Let me show you what else you can 3D print. This thing doesn't just have to live in the footprint of a Glock, it can live in a totally different body. I want you guys to see what this guy does.
What the hell is this?
Yeah.
So what you're looking at is that same G80, but we now have a 3D printed, what we call the PDW. The idea is something between a handgun and a full-size fighting rifle, somebody like a tank crewman or somebody in a rear area might have. Civilians have an interest in this because, as you see, I have a spare magazine that I can stow on the gun. So say like I'm a church security, this fits in a normal backpack, and if somebody shows up with a rifle, I have something that gives me a third point of contact, and I can engage that threat a little better with a little more precision than I would from a 2-point of contact handgun. So it's just a different form factor. It's one of many innovations we expect to see with the G80 product line.
The elements that are 3D printed are just this part.
Yeah, everything below the steel you see right here. So this body is 3D printed, and we will, when this comes to market, include the steel. So if you want to print your PDW body, you'll buy like this brace kit, and it will come to where you can just install this nut, slide it into the channel, and now you have a retaining nut. And it'll have a locking latch to keep it collapsed, and then you'll push the button to pull it out and deploy it.
I have a line in my head where it's, you see someone with that and you're like, holy shit, it's Jason Bourne.
Yeah. This could equally be, it's almost timeless. It's such a foreign design, like 3D printed guns help you understand it. Some designs are, this could be from the 1960s, from sci-fi. This could be from 20 years in the future. I mean, where is this gun from?
So you do have a great pessimism about your life work right now. You think it's gonna end by getting crushed by the government.
No. It's just, you have to assume. You just have to assume. All right, these forces are too big. This government is too large. It is too impersonal. And it doesn't care about, you know, the law or these little ideas that you have. It's almost all accidental. You have to understand, these are like big cosmic forces. It's like gods that don't even know that you exist. You know, you're less than an insect. You will be destroyed when you're near all of these forces. It just happens. That's what it is to be involved with this. So, what kind of artistic performance, aesthetic development, you know, you have to think outside of these traditional left-right terms.
Now that you've had more than a decade under your belt doing this, what are your immediate goals or things that you are trying to achieve?
Yeah, my immediate goal is a thing called G80. All right, I watched how the Biden people took the best business in our field, polymer 80, just wipe it out of business without a thought, really, and without much effort, right? Like, oh, okay, we can fiddle with the definition of one word and collapse an American company. And some of that is because polymer 80 collapsed under the weight of its own success. All right, well, luckily we're not successful, okay? Luckily, we're more nimble for that reason. And we can teach, like we've always done, what's the name of this company? Defense Distributed. You can spread the IP out. You can push the sites of production around. It can be a network. You don't have to have one big business in this field. It will always be hobbyists and hackers and incels, this distributed kind of wave of people. We're teaching that. But another of my big goals is to show that, like, there was no success in crushing polymer 80. That was nihilistic, it was naked, it was opportunistic. It wasn't a victory or accomplishment in the law or ideology. All that legal accomplishment did was push the products and the development and the technology the next level deeper. Okay, you can't make a frame now because it looks too much like a gun. Well, I'm gonna sell you something that doesn't look like a gun. You just make products that are more ambiguous.
What do you think that there's major gun companies like Smith & Wesson, Ruger, Beretta out there that can make millions and millions of dollars every year. So they can sell into Ukraine, they can sell into Israel, they can sell into countries that are actively at war. They have quarterly bonuses, they have stock options, no prison. But if someone finds this on you, it's a really big deal. What do you think about that kind of two-sided system?
I mean, obviously, I think it's but there's nothing you can really do about it. It's like everything else.
So do you have a bit of a nihilistic view on society? Like it's a bit fucked. The big corporations win, the little guys get screwed, so might as well
Basically, yeah.
have fun while you're at it.
Yeah, exactly.
These gun manufacturers are, if they do business here and abroad, they're part of the military industrial complex. And if we democratize where anyone could have a gun printer in their home, there are huge business interests that we're hurting. Do you suspect that's one of the biggest reasons, more so than safety, that this would be why the government would be against ghost guns?
Yeah. When it comes to money, and those big corporations aren't making the money, or they foresee they're not going to make as much money as they used to, then they're going to do whatever they can to keep that, as anybody would. Anybody who has a monopoly on anything, like if you own all the pizza stores, for you to see somebody making their own pizzas, that's a threat to you. That's a threat to your family. That's a threat to your legacy, right? So if I was a gun manufacturer, I would try to do whatever I can to prevent it, but make you believe that it's for your safety. It's for the safety of little Johnny down the street. If you ever get charged with a crime, I'm currently licensed in the state of Texas, but there's a way for me to practice in other states. If you have a crime, call our office. I'll make sure that I protect all your rights, and I will intercept the prosecutor's attempt to put you away in prison for a long time or death penalty. Give me a call.
Folks, just a quick reminder, don't forget to click the link. It's risk-free.
And that's all for today, people, man. This your boy Leeko, and I'm out, man.